I swear, something in the air felt wrong. It wasn't anything loud or obvious. No yelling. No silence. No fight. Just a shift. Like the atmosphere around my wife had changed, the way warm air becomes cold seconds before a storm hits. She came home late, again. Her hair was messy in a way that wasn't natural for a simple, girls' night out. Her lipstick was smudged. And her smile was practiced, like she had rehearsed it in the car mirror before walking inside. When she kissed me on the cheek, her lips lingered half a second longer than usual, like she was overcompensating, as if she wanted to drown my suspicions before I even had any. But that only made it worse. Because innocence doesn't try that hard. Guilt does. There's a scent you begin to associate with someone over the years. Perfume mixed with the faint smell of laundry detergent, the familiar comforting notes of home. Tonight wasn't that. She smelled like a hotel lobby. A mix of too clean air, synthetic floral fragrance, and something warm in the background. Like someone else's cologne. When I asked how her night was, she answered too quickly. Too rehearsed. Too polished. But the real clue. She didn't ask about my night. She didn't care. Her mind was somewhere else, with someone else, and even though she was standing in front of me, she wasn't here. My wife used to leave her phone anywhere, on the couch, on the counter, even in the bathroom while showering. But now, it was glued to her hand. Always face down. Always locked. Always charging at places where the screen was impossible for me to catch even accidentally. She even turned off message previews. She said it was for privacy. But privacy doesn't require secrecy. Her new habits did. And when I walked behind her on the couch and she slammed the phone upside down the moment the screen lit up. Yeah. That was the first moment my chest actually tightened. She said she was with her friends on the east side of town, the same restaurant they always go to. But that night, while tossing her jacket on the couch, a folded paper slipped out of the pocket. A receipt. At first glance it looked normal, until I saw the location. West Side. A hotel district. Not even remotely close to any of her usual hangouts. My breath got stuck in my throat. My fingers shook. And my entire body went cold in a way that felt unnatural, like adrenaline and heartbreak mixing together for the first time. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because when your heart is breaking, sometimes you need one more piece of proof before accepting the pain that's already destroying you. You know that feeling when your mind is screaming the truth but your heart is on its knees praying it's wrong. That was me. My brain. She's cheating. My heart. No, she wouldn't do that. My memories. Look at everything she said. Look at the promises. The devotion. The plans. But her behavior. Her absence. Her emotional distance. Her lies wrapped as explanations. They were all closing in on me like a slow tightening vice. I felt myself drowning without water. Burning without fire. Breaking without impact. And something inside me whispered, this is only the beginning. The next morning, she was in the shower. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Once. Twice. 3 times. I never touch her phone, even when I wanted to. I respected her space. But this time the vibration sounded different. Urgent. Like someone who expected her to answer. And then I saw it. A preview, just one word before the screen faded. Last night. My entire body went numb. My blood felt heavy. My breath slowed. Messages that start with, last night, don't come from female friends. Messages like that come from mistakes. From secrets. From someone who had access to a version of her I didn't even know existed. I didn't unlock the phone. I didn't touch it. But the damage was already done, because sometimes seeing a single word is enough to end an entire world. She came out of the shower humming. Happy. Relaxed. A woman who didn't know her husband had just died a little on the inside. When I asked how she slept, she answered instantly, without thinking. Great. Too quickly. Too confidently. Like she had rehearsed, normal wife answers, in her head. She made breakfast, talked about weekend plans, and even kissed my forehead. But affection from a guilty person feels different. It's not warmth. It's performance. A desperate attempt to cover the cracks in the mask. I watched her pour coffee with perfectly steady hands. Hands that had trembled a week ago when we argued about bills. But now, not a shake. Not a hesitation. People don't become calmer. They become committed. Committed to their lie. Committed to their affair. Committed to protecting the alternative life they're building behind your back. And the more she acted normal, the more unnatural it became. I never wanted to be that husband, the one who follows his wife, spying from behind the wheel. But desperation changes a man. Heartbreak turns dignity into survival. And so that evening, when she said she was meeting Emma, I decided to test fate. I waited 10 minutes. Then 20. Then I left. I kept my headlights off from a distance, staying just far enough back to not be noticed. Her car drove past the main street, past the restaurant she claimed she was going to, and straight to the west side of town. My pulse hammered. My vision blurred. It was happening. The thing I prayed wasn't real. She parked behind a hotel. A man stepped out from the shadows. Tall, confident. He smiled when he saw her. A smile I had never seen her give me, not in years. And she ran into his arms. No hesitation. No guilt. No fear. Just familiarity. Comfort. Affection. Like they had been doing this for months. Every breath I took felt like swallowing glass. I stayed in the car, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My wife, my partner, my everything, had her hands on another man's chest. Her fingers traced his jawline like she was memorizing it. She kissed him slowly, softly, like he was home and I was the mistake. I couldn't cry. Not yet. I felt frozen, like my body refused to accept what my eyes were witnessing. They entered the hotel lobby laughing. Laughing. The world has never felt so cruelly silent. Not even the night air moved. Just me, sitting in a car that suddenly felt way too small for the size of my heartbreak. I didn't go in. That would have made it real too quickly. I needed time. Time to breathe. Time to break. Time to decide who I wanted to be when the truth finally collapsed on both of us. Hours later, she came home smelling like the same scent I noticed before, that hotel clean, synthetic floral fragrance. But now I knew why. I knew where it came from. I knew whose hands had been on her. She walked in with tired eyes and a fake yawn. Such a long night, she said. She dropped her bag. Kissed me. Acted like her night was boring, uneventful, harmless. Meanwhile, I could still see her in that lobby. In that man's arms. In that hotel room. I nodded, pretended to listen, pretended to care. But inside, I was holding my heart together with shaking hands. And for the first time in our marriage, I realized she wasn't mine anymore. She just hadn't told me yet. The next morning she left early for work. But her mistake was small. A single detail. Yet enough to expose everything. She forgot her second phone. The one she kept hidden. The one she claimed was for business only.
If this story hits you, You can support the channel with a quick hype.
It lit up on the kitchen counter. A name appeared. Not a woman's name. A man's. Ethan calling. My stomach clenched. My vision tunneled. The world dimmed except for that single glowing name. She had never mentioned an Ethan. Not once. In years of marriage, I had heard every coworker's name, but never his. The call ended. Then a message arrived. Last night was perfect, but today I need to see you again. My breath caught in my throat. My hands trembled. It felt like every insecurity I'd ever had crawled up my spine at the same time. She didn't know I had seen it. She didn't know her secret phone was betraying her while she betrayed me. And for a moment, I felt something worse than pain. I felt stupid. Like I had been blind by choice. Trusting a woman who had already checked out of our marriage months ago. That evening, I confronted her. Not directly. But in the subtle way men do when they already know the truth. Rough day at work, I asked. She hesitated. Not long enough to seem suspicious. But long enough for me to see her brain stitching a lie together. Then she smiled. For sure. Non-stop meetings. Meetings. Always meetings. Meetings that lasted too long. Meetings that made her come home with perfume she didn't own. Meetings that made her shower the moment she entered the house. But this time, I had a detail she didn't know I had. What about Ethan? I said casually. Her entire face changed. Her lips parted just slightly. Her pupils widened. Her breath caught, too fast to control. Who? She said. Her voice cracked. Her lie wasn't just bad. It was insulting. She forgot her business phone that morning. Yet she still tried to act confused. She wasn't just cheating. She was comfortable cheating. Comfortable lying. Comfortable insulting my intelligence. And that hurt more than the betrayal itself. Later that night, I pretended to be asleep as she grabbed her phone and tiptoed into the hallway. Her whisper wasn't quiet enough. Yeah, he doesn't suspect anything. My chest tightened. Okay. Same room tomorrow. Tears filled my eyes. Love you too. Love you too. That sentence. That phrase. Those 3 words that belong to me. She gave them to another man like they meant nothing. I waited until she returned to bed. She slipped under the blanket with a guilty softness. She didn't touch me. Didn't cuddle. Didn't reach for me like she used to. And that's when the truth became unbearable. She wasn't mine anymore. Her body was next to me. But her heart was somewhere else. Her loyalty was somewhere else. Her love was somewhere else. And no matter how tightly I held the blanket, I couldn't hold on to her. The next evening, she left again. Same lie, same excuse, same coldness. I followed her. I knew I shouldn't. But the heart wants the truth, even when the truth destroys it. She drove across town. Past the restaurants she used to love with me. Past the places where we built memories. Straight to a hotel. But this time, Ethan didn't come from the shadows. He didn't hide. He walked right up to her with the confidence of a man who felt entitled to her. She smiled at him like he was the only man she had ever loved. She touched his face with tenderness she hadn't given me in years. They kissed. Not rushed. Not guilty. But slow. Comfortable. Familiar. Practiced. And that was the worst part. She wasn't having an affair. She was living a second life. A life where I didn't exist. Where my love, my loyalty, my sacrifices meant absolutely nothing. I stayed in the car, suffocating under the weight of a heartbreak I could barely survive. When she returned home later, she started her usual routine. Shower. change clothes, put her phone on silent. I sat at the dining table, staring at the wood grain, imagining how many nights she had come home after being with him. Sitting in that exact chair, smiling at me, lying without hesitation. She walked in. "Why are you awake?" I looked up slowly. "I know." She froze. Her lips parted. The blood drained from her face. What do you mean?" she whispered. There was no anger in my voice. Just exhaustion. Just heartbreak. Just the quiet acceptance of a man who had lost the woman he loved long before she realized she was gone. "I saw you," I said. "I saw everything." Her knees buckled. She grabbed the back of a chair, trembling. Her mask shattered. Finally. But it didn't matter anymore. Because I wasn't fighting for my marriage now. I was fighting for my dignity. For my peace. For the version of myself that still deserved love. And this was my breaking point. She sat across from me at the kitchen table, her hands shaking, eyes red. But her tears didn't move me anymore. Not after months of lies. Not after hearing her tell another man, "I love you." "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered. A classic line. A rehearsed lie. The anthem of cheaters. She tried to paint herself as the victim of her own impulses. As if she had tripped and fallen into a hotel room for months. "I was lonely," she said. "I felt unseen. Unseen. I worked overtime to give her the life she wanted. I sacrificed my hobbies, my social life, my sleep. To build our future. And while I was building us, she was destroying us. Brick by brick. Lie by lie." Her apology wasn't an apology. It was a strategy. A desperate attempt to soften the consequences that were now unavoidable. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I didn't throw anything. I just stared at her with a numbness so deep it scared even me. Because when a man goes silent, that's when he's truly done. That night, after she cried herself to sleep on the couch, I walked into our bedroom. The air felt different. Like the room itself knew it wasn't ours anymore. I opened the closet and started packing a bag. Not everything. Just the essentials. A few shirts. A pair of jeans. My toothbrush. The watch she gave me on our second anniversary. The one that now felt like a joke. Every item I picked up had a memory attached to it. A memory she had poisoned. As I zipped the bag, something inside me broke. Not loudly. But quietly. Like a thread snapping inside my chest. I wasn't packing to punish her. I wasn't packing to make her chase me. I wasn't packing for drama. I was packing because I finally realized. Staying was destroying me. Leaving wasn't betrayal. Leaving was survival. When she woke up and saw the bag near the door, panic rushed through her. "Please. Don't go. We can fix this. I'll cut him off. I'll do anything. Anything." Cheaters always promise. Anything, once the consequences arrive. She reached out to touch my arm. But I stepped back. A simple move. Yet it broke her. "You can't leave," she whispered. "I made a mistake. A big one. But we can heal." Heal. You can't heal a house that's already burned to the ground. You rebuild somewhere else. This isn't a mistake, I said softly. It's a choice you made over and over. Her breath hitched. She finally understood that I wasn't bluffing. When I grabbed the doorknob, she collapsed to her knees, sobbing. But her tears finally had no power over me. They were too late. Too rehearsed. Too familiar. And with one final breath, I said the last sentence of our marriage. You didn't lose me today. You lost me months ago. The moment I stepped outside, the air felt different. Cold but clean. Lonely but peaceful. It was the first time in months that I wasn't carrying the weight of suspicion, anxiety, or betrayal. The city lights felt brighter. The world felt bigger. And I felt alive. I checked into a small apartment. Nothing fancy. Just quiet. Just mine. That night, lying on a mattress with no frame, no decor, no memories. I felt something I hadn't felt in a very long time. Relief. Not because the pain was gone, but because the pain finally had a reason. A direction. A future. Freedom doesn't always feel good at first. Sometimes it feels like grief. But grief is better than betrayal. Grief is honest. Betrayal is poison. Weeks passed. She tried calling, texting, emailing. She even showed up at my building once. But I didn't answer. Not out of spite, but out of growth. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want closure. I didn't need an apology. I needed distance. I needed silence. I needed me. And one night, staring at the city from my balcony, I realized something powerful. I didn't hate her. I didn't need to. Hatred still ties you to the person who hurt you. I simply didn't feel anything anymore. Not love. Not anger. Not resentment. And that was freedom. Because healing isn't about forgetting who hurt you. Healing is about remembering who you are after the pain is gone. This is my story. Not of betrayal, but of choosing myself.
If you've ever felt this kind of pain, don't walk through it alone. Hit subscribe and stay with us. More real stories are coming.